deserves so neologistic a phrase, the precept as well as the practice of the primitive church is distinctively against matrimony.
That is obviously the reason why the primitive church has not lasted up to the present day. You don't seem to realize, dear doctor, that by persistently remaining single, a man converts himself into a permanent public temptation. Men should be more careful. This very celibacy leads weaker vessels astray.
What is the man attractive to married?
No married man is ever attractive, except to his wife.
And often unequal, not even to her.
That depends on the intellectual sympathies of a woman. Maturity can always be depended on. Ripeness can be trusted. Young women are green. Oh. I spoke horticulturally. My metaphor was drawn from fruit. Where's Cecily?
Perhaps she follows through schools. Cecily!
Cecily!
Romance, be eager to...
I didn't expect you till Monday afternoon.
I have returned sooner than I expected. Dr. Chausible, you are, I hope, well?
I trust this garb of woe does not betoken some terrible calamity.
My brother.
More shameful debts and extravagance.
Still leading his life of pleasure?
Dead. Quite dead.
What a lesson for him. I'm sure he'll profit by it.
I offer you my sincere condolences, Mr. Worrthing, at least for the consolation of knowing you were forgiving and generous of brothers.
Poor Ernest! He had many faults, but it is a sad, sad blow.
Were you with him in the end?
No! Died in Paris. I had a telegram to the manager at the Grand Hotel last night.
What's the cause of death, Archie?
A severe chill.
As a man sows, so shall he.
Charity, dear Miss President. None of us are perfect. I myself am peculiarly susceptible to drafts. Will the internment take place here?
No. He seems to have expressed a desire to be married in Paris. In Paris!
I fear that hardly states you in a serious state of mind at the last. You would no doubt wish for me to make some slight allusion to this domestic affliction next Sunday. My sermon on the meaning of the manna in the wilderness can be presented in almost any occasion, joyful, from the present case, distressing. I've preached that at harvest celebrations, christenings, confirmation, days of humiliation, and festal days. The last time I delivered it was at the cathedral, as a charity sermon on behalf of the society for the prevention of discontent among the upper orders. The bishop present was not struck by the analogies and
That reminds me, dear doctor. You mentioned christenings, I think. I suppose you know how to christen all right? I mean, you are continually christening, aren't you?
It is, I regret to say, one of the rector's most constant duties in this parish. I've often spoken to poor classes on the subject. They don't seem to know what fruit is.
Is there any particular infant of whom you're interested in, Mr. Worrthing? Your brother was believed unmarried with
Oh, yes, yes.
People who live entirely for pleasure usually are.
But it is not for any child, dear doctor. I'm very fond of children, but the fact is I'd like to be christened myself. This afternoon, if you've nothing better to do.
But surely, Mr. Worrthing, you've been christened already.
I don't remember anything about it.
But do you have any grave doubts on the subject?
Certainly intend to have. Of course, I don't know if the thing would bother you in any way, or if you think I'm a little too old now.
No, not at all. The sprinkling and the immersion of adults is a perfectly canonical practice.
Immersion?
The sprinkling is all that is necessary, or indeed, I think, advisable.
Yes.
Our weather is so changeable. What hour would you wish the ceremony to be performed?
Oh, I might trot round about 5 if that would suit you.
Perfectly. I have 2 similar cases to perform at the time. A case of twins happened on the outlying projects of my own estate. Poor Mr. Jenkins, the carter, was a hard-working man.
I don't see much fun in being christened along with other babies. It would seem childish. Would 5:30 do?
Admirably, But I will not intrude any longer in this house of sorrow. I merely beg you not to bow down too much to my grief. What seemed to us bitter trials are blessings in disguise.
It seems to me a blessing of an extremely obvious kind.
Uncle Jack? Oh, I'm so pleased to see you back, but what for clothes you have got on? Do you go and change them?
Cecily!
What's the matter? Uncle Jack? You look happy. You look as if you had a toothache. Oh, and I have got such a surprise for you. Who do you think is in the dining room? Your brother!
Who?
Your brother Ernest. He arrived about half an hour ago.
Nonsense, I haven't got a brother.
Uncle Jack, don't say that. However badly he may have behaved to you in the past, he is still your brother. You couldn't be so heartless as to disown him. I'll tell him to come out. And you will shake hands with him, won't you, Uncle Jack?
These are very joyful tidings.
After all been resigned to his loss, his sudden return seems to me peculiarly distressing.
Brother is in the dining room. I don't know what it all means. It's perfectly absurd. Good heavens!
John, I've come down from town expressly to say that I am very sorry for all the trouble I have caused you, and that I intend to lead a better life in the future.
Uncle Jack, you're not going to refuse your own brother's hand, are you?
Nothing would induce me to shake his hand. I think his coming down here disgraceful. He knows perfectly well why.
Jack, do be nice to something, everyone! Ernest has just been telling me about his poor invalid friend, Mr. Bunbury. Some good in one who is kind to an invalid.
He's been talking about Bunbury, has he?
Yes, he has told me all about Mr. Bunbury and his terrible, terrible state of health.
Bunbury! Well, I won't have him talk to you about Bunbury or anything else for that matter. It's enough to drive one perfectly frantic.
Of course, I admit that the faults are all on my side.
Yes, they are.
But I must say that your coming here is peculiarly painful. I expected a more enthusiastic welcome, especially considering this is the first time I have come here.
Uncle Jack, if you're not going to shake hands with Ernest, I'll never forgive you.
Never forgive me?
Never, never, never!
Well, this will be the last time I shall ever do it.
It's beautiful to not see such perfect a reconciliation. I think we might leave the two brothers together.
Cecily, you will come with us.
Certainly, Miss Prism. My little task of reconciliation is over.
You have put a beautiful action today, dear child.
I feel very happy.
Oh, let's not be premature in our judgment.
Young scoundrel, Alger, you must be out of this place at once. I don't allow any Bunbury here.
I put Mr. Ernest's things in the room next to yours, sir. I suppose that is all right.
What?
Mr. Ernest's luggage, sir. I've unpacked it and placed it in the room next to your own.
His luggage.
Yes, sir. 3 portmanteaus, a dressing case, 2 hat boxes, and a large luncheon basket.
I'm afraid I won't be able to stay more than a week this time.
Merriman, order the dog cart at once. Mr. Earnest has been suddenly called back to town.
Yes, sir.
What a fearful liar you are, Jack. I haven't been called back to town at all.
You have.
I haven't heard anyone call me.
Your duty as a gentleman calls you back.
My duty as a gentleman has never interfered with my pleasures to the smallest degree.
I can quite understand that.
Well, Cecily is a darling.
You are not to talk of Miss Cardew like that. I don't like it.
Well, I don't like your clothes. You look perfectly ridiculous in them. Why on earth don't you go up and change? It's very childish to be in deep mourning for a man who's actually staying with you for a whole week with you in your house as a guest.
You are certainly not staying with me for a whole week as a guest or anything else. You've got to leave by the 4 to 5 train.
Well, I certainly won't leave you so long as you were in deep mourning. It would be most unfriendly. If I was in mourning, you would stay with me, I should suppose. I would think it most unkind if you didn't.
Well, will you go if I change my clothes?
Yes, but be quick about it. I've never seen anyone take so long to change and with such little result.
That is better than being always overdressed as you are.
If I'm occasionally a little overdressed, I make up for it by being always immensely overeducated.
Your vanity is ridiculous. Your conduct an outrage, and your presence, my God, and utterly absurd. However, you've got to catch the 4 to 5 train, and I hope you have a pleasant journey back to town. This